Hi, I'm Thurman, and you're watching the Inner Goddess interviews. I'm chatting with women who are unleashing their inner goddess and following their soul path. And today I'm really excited to have on my show Kellie Fitzgerald. She's an author, a life coach, and a real estate agent. And she's just started her own publishing company. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today, Kellie.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now we've got to talk about your book before anything else, because how long has it been out now? It's only recently been published?
It's been out about 3 weeks
3 weeks.
Amazon. Yeah.
And it's called When on the Road to Enlightenment, Don't Forget to Take Out the Trash. So what's it all about? Tell us all about it.
The title actually came about, I had, for about 20 years or so, gone through one illness and one bad experience and one death in my family after another, and I was just so down that all the things that I had done, I'd been reading a lot of the right books, and I had been meditating, and I had been doing all these things that they tell you was, going to work, and it just wasn't working for me. And in a meditation one morning, I was so frustrated. I said, okay, universe, why is this not working for me? And very clearly in the back of my head, I heard, because you've forgotten to take out your trash.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, yes, I did. The can is out tonight, but that's not the trash. They're talking about the anger, the guilt, the sadness, all of the things from our past that we hold on to. All of those. In my case, I had a lot of childhood things that I had never really come to terms with. I'd had a lot of relationship issues I'd never really come to terms with. So I just started literally writing it down and just sort of self-therapy. It was very cathartic for me to get this stuff on paper. And then when I started letting just a few people very close to me read what I had written, they said, oh, wow, this would make a great book. You should totally put this all together. So that's how it came about. It was just sort of my journey. And believe me, it's been a very long and a very exciting journey at some times.
Oh, that's brilliant. I think kind of like any books that are empowering are so much better when they're written, when they've got a real story behind them. Because you've got experience to share with other people. As you're a life coach as well, do you give people some tips and hints to deal with their trash?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my big thing is people don't really realize how they're holding themselves back. We do a lot of self-sabotaging, and people don't realize we are whole beings. We aren't just physical, we aren't just mental. There is a very strong spiritual component there. And I work with a lot of people who are very successful monetarily. They go to the gym every day. They do all of these things that they think they're on the right path. And then you say, well, but how do you feel? Are you happy? And they're not happy, and they don't understand why they're not happy. So I do a lot of helping people become the best version of them that they can be.
So kind of integrating their whole body, mind, spirit, putting the whole package back together.
Right, exactly. And people just don't, that's not something people think about. They think, well, I should eat healthy, well, I should work out. Well, you should also meditate and get in touch with your subconscious and your inner self. And that's where your inner goddess thing comes in, is because everybody has that inner spark, that inner voice. And so often we just ignore it completely, and oh, well, that's not important. But it is. It's very important.
It is. It's kind of like the driving force to everything you do, really, isn't it? Well, I think that that if you've got that connection on the inside, the whole outside seems to work so much more smoothly and more meaningfully as well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like ignoring a big chunk of your personality if you don't go there. You really have to. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said before that, you were reading all the right books and doing the right things, but a lot of being on the path to enlightenment is soul searching and doing the inner work, not just the outer work.
Right, right. And people, it amazes me how many really successful people haven't grasped that. They're still, you know, so unhappy. And what am I missing? What am I missing? Well, you're missing the big chunk of your personality that's sitting over here being ignored. That's what you're missing. So that's what I help people do.
Doing the inner work, though, is kind of scary because you repress all these things that you don't want to admit to, experiences. How do you make it a little bit more gentler for people so they're not like totally and utterly scared to look inside?
Well, and a lot of people are. Many people are terrified to look inside themselves. And one of the things that I tell people is it's baby steps. You know, this truly is a journey, and it is not a race. And, you know, nobody's ultimately going to win. You know, I hope we all get out of here. You know, that's the big thing. But I have people sort of write it down. You know, I work a lot with writing, and I think that's sort of a softer way. Nobody else has to read what you write. You know, you can immediately destroy it after you've written it. But I think the first step is, where am I today? What would my perfect day look like? And it's amazing when you get people to really be quiet and think about, what if you could do anything in the world, have your perfect day, what would it look like? And so many of my life coaching clients, the first thing on their list is, I'd want to be happy. And that to me was shocking when I started, because here are these people who seemingly have everything and these, you know, awesome lives from the outside looking in, and from the inside it's not that great. They're missing a lot. So I think that's the first step, is just, you have to get in touch. You have to reconnect with your inner self. And people do not take the time to do that. We have such a fast-paced existence, and it's all go, go, go all the time. And if you sit down and quiet your mind, you find there's so much information inside yourself that is so vitally important, and people don't listen to it.
No. It's like getting people to sit down and just being quiet for 5 minutes with no distractions. You can see that they're going a little bit crazy because they don't know what to do with themselves. Because when you take the distractions away, what do you do? Life is just hectic and mad, and we're bombarded all the time with stuff. And then you take a step away from it, and you're just left with yourself, and I mean, what else is there to do then? You have to look inside.
Yeah.
So you help your life coaching people gently embrace their inner self and to find their happiness. And I take it that's kind of like the essence of your book as well, your stories and journey from having a load of trash to take out to where you are today, because you look incredibly happy and free-flowing and relaxed.
It's been an incredible journey, you know, and people that have been with me through the whole thing, they're like, oh wow, we thought we were going to lose you there for a while. I mean, I was way off the other end of the spectrum, and it just, you know, it literally is baby steps. And people today always want a quick fix. They want to take a pill to make them healthy. They want to take a pill to make them younger. They want to take a pill for everything. And this is not a quick fix. This is a journey. And it is a journey fraught with pitfalls from time to time. You just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And once you realize that everything that happens to you, good, bad, or indifferent, is a lesson, there is always something good you can see in the worst circumstances if you look hard enough. And you just start, okay, I've learned this lesson, I don't need to learn that one again. And you start putting stuff behind you and moving forward. That's a really hard thing for a lot of people to grasp. You know, I have a lot of clients that will, I don't understand, I've been married 6 times, what's wrong with me? And it's because you keep making the same mistakes and you're refusing to learn the lessons. And if you just learn the lesson and tell the universe, okay, I got that one, don't need that one again, then the next time you go into things better prepared and realizing that you don't have to keep making the same choices over and over and over again. They are choices. You can make a different one.
They are, aren't they? They are choices, and that's a really empowering thing to remember to begin with, that every day, every moment is a choice, and what you do, you choose to do, and no one is forcing you, and and each second you can make a better choice.
Right.
Little tiny baby steps.
Yeah, people try to do too much too soon. You have to learn to crawl before you can walk, and you have to learn to walk before you can run. And I think a lot of times, just because of the way our society is, that everything is instant gratification, people don't take the time to realize you have to really put some effort into this. This is not a quick fix thing. This is not, 0 to 100. This is little bit by little bit. I mean, I tell people, you can look at it one day at a time if you're having a hard time. If you're having a really rough day, it's 1 hour at a time, and that's okay. It's okay to take things slower than you think. A lot of times people want to go too fast.
Exactly. You mentioned like you were reading the self-help books as well, and I think that's another problem, is that people read self-help books but they don't do the work that goes with the self-help book, and so then they're on to the next one thinking that the self-help book that they've just read is rubbish because it didn't work. So
Right.
You actually have to put in something to get something out, and our society doesn't really encourage that at all, does it? It's like you
No.
said, you want a quick fix.
Yep. Yeah, people think that this is easy and all I have to do is read a book, listen to a tape, I'm fixed, and that's not the way it works. But I think self-help books too, you have to take out your trash before you can build on it. It's like in our subconscious, we've got all the garbage from everything from, day one of our lives. And if you're just trying to throw good stuff on top of bad stuff, that bad stuff was still the foundation. So you have to kind of redo your foundation. You have to remove the bad stuff, and then you can refill it with good stuff.
How long have you been on this journey?
I've been life coaching for the last couple of years, but really this has been 20 years in the making. I started out about 25 years ago, exactly where I am right this moment, and I got sick. I think my camera is freaking out here, but I got sick, and then I had a number of back-to-back deaths in my family, and then I had a devastating breakup of a relationship that was very important to me, and then I got sicker. So I had multiple surgeries and multiple different kinds of treatments and just a lot of trauma in my life, which completely derailed me. So while I started out on this journey 25 years ago, I sort of got sidetracked. I tell people I took the scenic route. But, everything that happened to me during that time was very important and made me who I am today. And I would not be where I am had I not gone through that. I would have just kept going on my path like I was 25 years ago. I would have ended up in a totally different place with a totally different life. And I am very, very grateful now, looking back, for everything that happened, because now I see, wow, that really made me stronger. That really made me think of things in a different way, totally changed my perception of life.
And of course, it's given you experience and your own adventures to share with people, and then they can think, well, Kellie did this, and Kellie's gone through it, and look, here she is today. People can then relate if you've had a whole load of trash and you've managed to take some of it out. You're a real person that can help, and it's
right.
Yeah.
I think that's really an important aspect, is when you're looking for someone, and when you're starting out on your journey, you look for people that you can kind of identify with. And I know that's what I did. You know, when I started out, I was like sort of picking through all of the self-help people and all of the gurus and everything. Okay, well, that guy, no, this one, okay, maybe. And, you know, you find bits and pieces of individuals that you can say, okay, I can identify with that, you know, so I'll read that person's book. And that's what I did, and I think that's what everybody does. And I think that's what you need to do, because if it's not relatable to you, it isn't really going to help you.
Exactly. Now, how long did it take you to write your book?
It took me about 10 years to think about it and 2 months to get it done.
Oh, that's not bad at all then.
It really did take me a very long time, years, decades probably, of thinking about it and mulling it over. But I've been a writer my entire life. I mean, from the time I could hold a pencil, I'd started writing. And that's sort of the way I deal with things. If something happens to me that's really upsetting, I would sit down and I would write about it. And, you know, nobody would ever see that. It was sort of like journaling, only I would do it in restaurants on the back of napkins, you know, wherever I was. And that just sort of helped me get everything together in my head. And then by the time I sat down to write the book, I knew exactly what I wanted to say, and I had gone through all of the garbage thoughts that I had had while I was thinking about it. So it was a lot of thought, though.
Yeah, what held you back from beginning to write 10 years ago? What was that final push you needed to sit down and, I mean, write a book in 2 months? Yeah, well done.
A very, very good friend of mine died very unexpectedly. And here I had been thinking, okay, I've got my life back together, things are going really great, I can, you know, sit down and write when I feel like it. And then he died very, very quickly, very unexpectedly. And it was a horrible, horrible accident. And it was a wake-up call. It's like, you know, we do not always have as much time to do things that we want to do as we think. So I came home actually when we took him off life support. It was really, really gruesome thing. But I came home after that and started writing. And that my first draft was done in a couple of days, and then I put it aside and dealt with grief issues and those kinds of things. And then when I went back and put it together, it was, you know, 2 months. I sort of did my own pre-editing and then sent it out to various friends. Please read this. You know, tell me what I messed up on here, because, you know, when you're writing your book, you kind of try not to self-edit as you write, or at least I do, because then I'm going to spend, you know, 5 hours on one chapter. It's just sort of downloading like a computer. You download it from your head and get it on the paper or in the computer. And then you go back and have somebody else say, okay, well, this punctuation is way off, and who taught you how to spell? You know, so that was probably my most tedious part of the entire process, was just forcing myself to get everything down and not obsess over it being perfect the first time.
That's a big lesson in itself, isn't it? It's like downloading the information, being a channel for these words, and not editing, not trying to get it perfect first time. I mean, I drove myself around the bend with that. It's just
yeah. It's a hard thing to do. It's really a discipline to not do that. And I went back, and now I go back and I look at that first draft and I'm like, oh my goodness, these people thought I didn't go to school. You know, reading it the first time, it's, oh my goodness. But you know, it was mostly typos. But you know, when you're just trying to get the thoughts down, I wasn't really consciously trying to make it perfect. But fortunately, it made enough sense where they were able to read it, because some of the typos were like, oh, that's not what I meant at all. That's a whole different word.
I'm glad that they understood it, and now your book's out, and show everyone the cover. I mean, it's really cool.
my friend Alexis actually did this drawing for me. I told her what the title of the book. There's a trash can down here with all your stuff. I told her the title of the book, and she said, "I think I have something in my head that will work for that." And she did it for me in like a day and a half, and she showed it to me, and I went, "Oh wow, you totally got the whole, meaning behind the book. The cover is just perfect for the book." So I'm very happy. I worked with a bunch of friends on this, and that sort of made the whole tedious part a little easier.
This is a great message also for people that want to self-publish, who may be thinking, oh no, I need a publisher, or I haven't got a book in me, but I'd really like to write. And then you've self-published, you've got friends to edit, and you've even started your own publishing company. So what advice could you give to would-be writers?
Keep writing. Really, there were days when I didn't feel like writing, or days when I had gotten busy and I just didn't want to force myself to do it. I forced myself to sit down and write at least 15 minutes every day. And the first day it was like 15 minutes and I was done, and the second day I looked at the clock and it was 2.5 hours later. But it was just that, make yourself sit down and write. And don't take no for an answer. I talked to a number of publishing companies thinking I would go that route, and you have to stay true to yourself. When I had an editor say, well, this story would sound better if it was written this way, that made up my mind that I needed to self-publish. And then these are my stories. Who are you to tell me that my story is wrong the way I'm telling it? But just keep doing it. If you have a book within you, you need to get that book out, and that's the main thing, is just keep doing it, keep going. There are so many options available today for self-publishing. It's really not as difficult as you would think.
And you have got a company to help people who might be considering that route and might need help. And
I think we're having technical difficulties. I'm having trouble hearing you.
I was talking about the publishing company just. Can you hear?
No, it's fading in and out.
It's like the techno gods have then spoken.
There we go.
Me. Can you show me your book one last time? Because I'd like if you can hear me now.
Yeah.
There's Kellie's book. When on the Road to Enlightenment, don't forget to take out your trash. And you can get it from Amazon.
Yes.
And it's on Kindle.
Yep. Yes, it is. Paperback or Kindle.
So go check out Amazon and get it. Sharing Kellie's story here. And check out, where can people find you on the internet? Where can they?
I am at ibbylanepress@gmail.com or ibbylanepress.com. It's ibbylanepress.com. I write a blog, and my contact information is there too.
Okay, and I'll
Ibby
post.
was actually a cat that was very important to me, so I named a publishing company after my cat.
I wondered what it was, but I didn't want to ask.
No, yeah, my animals got me through an awful lot, and this is my way of telling her that she was very important.
I'll post the links as well so people can easily find you, and I'll find the link to Amazon as well so people can go and get your book. Well, thank you so much, Kellie. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching. Bye. Until next time.